Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today, the One Conscious Love Network. I am here with Kendra. Kendra and I met at the Wild Women Summit a couple of weeks ago now and had a wonderful time at the summit. It was really fascinating. Kendra is such a source of light inspiration. And so I've invited her to come into the group and share with you what it is that she does, because I know many of you will really enjoy this. So, Kendra, please tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Of course. So my name is Kendra, and like she said, we met at the Wild Women Summit. It was amazing, and one of the things is sharing your life, and how I do that personally is through helping people with their wardrobe. And my specific focus is helping female entrepreneurs who are building a personal brand to be able to dress in a way that commands impact and authority. And one thing that I have realized um, by being a stylist for so many years is that most people are following really weird rules that have nothing to do with impact and authority. And so, what I do is I help people unlearn those rules and get back into their real, true self and help everyone around them be able to see that so that they can inspire the trust and authority that they already have within.
Yeah, and that's so important, right? Let's speak a little bit about how you find that voice, that image into women that maybe don't feel that confidence, that ability to really represent who they are. How do you work with someone like that?
Well, I think it has a lot to do with identity. And as women, we tend not to think of ourselves as having an identity. We think of ourselves as having roles. And so, what we need to do is we need to separate ourselves from the mother, the wife, the friend, and see who we are beyond all of those roles and responsibilities. Even, you know, yeah, we're women in business, but who are we beyond that? Because that's what people really connect to. And if you are not connected to that and able to express it in a way that people understand, you're missing out and you're feeling bad, you're feeling uninspired, you're feeling lackluster. And a lot of people don't realize the connection between that piece of your identity and how it shows up in your personal life through your everyday habits, which are simple, like getting dressed, like what you choose. It is all connected. So that's how I um, get people to get back in touch is through their identity beyond roles.
That's excellent. How did you come about doing that, Kendra? Tell us a little bit about your story.
Sure. So it's actually really interesting. I have this really storied past. I have, in the span of about 20 years, been a professional actress, a professional model. Um, Also, I was a behavioral clinician, so a lot of the insight I have has to do with, my experience in the field of mental health and psychology. But I also have this long storied history with style where I've done it professionally. I've also did it when I was an actress and model and doing pageants. There was always this narrative that I was telling with style. I was always helping people with style. And when I started my styling business after I was a behavioral clinician, I just started seeing how I wasn't helping people the way they needed to be helped. I was working at Saks Fifth Avenue as a style advisor, and I was dealing with people coming into the dressing room crying because they gained weight. And I was not in that role able to help them. And so um, I just made a connection that there's a psychology behind this. And my own personal story with it was um, in my behavioral clinician career, I noticed myself feeling disconnected from myself, feeling disconnected from, my interests and not feeling like I was being seen in the career I was in, not being listened to, not being perceived as an authority. And so I had like this aha moment back then, like, wait a minute, I help people with, cognitive behavioral therapy. Like I help people change their habits and change their lives. I need to do that on myself. And so I came up with a process, and it happens to include this process that I now have, which is called the style matrix. And it was revolutionary for me. I stopped showing up fragmented. I stopped identifying with my role and started identifying with my full self. And because of that, I brought pageant me to the table instead of just professional me. I brought the actress me who knows how to build narratives. I brought that to the table instead of like leaving it out because it was too much. I revamped my resume, and after years, a couple of years of not getting any um, interviews, I all of a sudden started getting interviews, and I got hired, and I made like this career jump to where I was a behavioral clinician, and then I was over a whole facility. And I was able to do that by coming back to myself, dressing into myself, showing up in my full energy. And it was this process that I created called the style matrix. And that's how I created this. And then I brought it to the work I did as a stylist. And when I decided I was going to leave Saks, I integrated the whole thing into my practice.
That's beautiful that you're able to piece all of those aspects of you into what you're offering today. I think that's so essential as far as finding your true voice, finding your true activation, because now you're really following the path in your journey where it took you. And so when you're working with new clients, what do you find are the major blocks or the main concerns that they have? Like the ones that are watching that are thinking, oh gosh, I really need somebody like Kendra in my life, but never done anything about it. What do you find is the thing that makes them finally take that action? And how could you talk to those folks that are sitting on the fence?
I feel like the people that are ready to take action are the people who already feel a disconnection. Like you're going through some kind of a change and an identity shift. You just haven't put a name to it. Those are the people who tend to be like, I need to talk to you. And they tend to also be people that um, have already recognized some sort of a wardrobe problem too, but they may not see it as connected, but they're recognizing, hey, something's off with my identity, and or I recognize this change, and like none of my clothes are representing me. They don't look right. They don't feel right. And like I just hate my whole closet. And so many of the people I work with are already ready and looking for a solution. But what they're doing most of the time, because I kind of look at styling like going to the dentist. Like you brush your teeth every day, but that doesn't mean that you don't need to go in for a checkup. That doesn't mean that, you don't need somebody to check and see if you don't have cavities. But with styling, a lot of people, they think that because they do it every day, that the confusion that they have with it every day, that it's something that they have to live with. And they don't. They don't.
And what do you find is most empowering about finding that clarity in their style, in their approach? What is it that comes out of that for most of your clients that's most empowering?
I think for my clients, what's most empowering is seeing themselves in a way they've never seen themselves before, honoring the things about them that they maybe thought were wrong or not good, and seeing how those can actually be strengths and pieces of relatability for other people and things to show off and create magnetism. I also think what's empowering is the functional aspect of it too, where you're literally feeling better, looking freaking amazing, and doing it all with ease. And you're like, why didn't I do this sooner?
I could see that for sure. And Kendra, one question I like to ask everyone is how do you choose conscious love every day? What does it mean to you in your daily life?
Conscious love every day. It is definitely something I actively cultivate. And I think for me, it's about alignment. I always try to be in alignment with love and showing it to myself and others. And I'm always trying to calibrate back to that and make sure that I am acting and feeling and showing love and truth. And that I'm always checking myself to make sure that I'm telling the truth to myself and that I'm telling the truth to other people and that my energy is showing that.
Yes, so beautiful indeed. It's such alignment is such an important piece of it for sure. Any last thoughts or anything else you'd like to share? Any events coming up or anything that you'd like to share with everyone?
Of course. So if anyone is interested in coming back to themselves and being able to show it through their style, I have a system. It's called the Style Matrix. And you can find your Style Matrix code by taking my quiz. I, in my behavioral work, have found that there are only 5 kinds of people on the planet. And so most people are following like the wrong strategy for them. This quiz is a diagnostic to see what your style strategy should be. So it'll tell you what your style strategy is and maybe kind of the pitfalls you may be falling into based on what kind of person you are. So if you're interested, the quiz is www.kendralasalle.com/quiz.
Amazing. And we'll definitely put the links in the comment below. So make sure to check that out because that sounds so much fun and so revealing of where to start even, right? From there, you
Absolutely.
can really understand what the science is all about and how it's going to help us find that clarity, right?
Absolutely. A
Oh,
great starting place.
wonderful. Anything else you'd like to share today?
Well, again, for the second time, but definitely not the last, I'd like to thank you so much for having me on.
Oh, thank you for being here, Kendra. It's always such a pleasure to have a conversation with you and be in a room with you. It's just your energy is so beautiful and you really radiate through the screen. So it's a real pleasure to have you with us. I know
Thank
everyone
you.
is going to enjoy it. So please don't be shy to reach out to Kendra and ask any question that you have. I know she's looking forward to your questions. Thank you so much. Thank you all for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you.